So, in my observation from my own life, in particular from my own life, but also the lives of others, it has become my observation and conclusion that God, what most people perceive as God or to be God, is in fact a creation of our own mind. Now let me be clear in stating that there is a universal creative principle that can be accessed by faith or by belief. However, it does not exist absent of faith or belief. That means God, in the theistic sense, does not exist unless you believe it does, or he does, whatever you believe, whatever gender you assign to God. It is your belief that makes it real. That's the generative principle that functions on the quantum observer principle. Something that is unobserved or doesn't have any focus placed on it is not real, has not come into existence. Therefore, if you take people, atheists for example, that do not believe in a personified God, to them God is not real because they do not give the creative quantum principle the focus to bring it into being, if that makes sense. So let's take, for example, the Christian people or religious people. They have created this God through the belief that there is an entity that watches out for them and has their back. It is your belief that creates this type of entity, this type of being, this type of God. It's your belief that is creating that God. When and if you stop believing in this being, that being stops existing, because it requires your focus and energy to be. Without the focus and energy, it is merely the void, the unformed no thing. And without a person placing a laser-focused intention and energy onto the object that the mind creates, that object does not exist. that exists only as a non-form, non-entity. So, that's why both atheism and religion can exist side by side in parallel existence. Because our focus is what gives a thing form. Our intention, our focus, our perception gives a thing form and reality. So, it's up to you what kind of creator being, God, you bring forth by your belief. Right? That's why it says that it's by faith. How does it go? I forget the Bible verse, but it's faith is the evidence of things unseen. Your focus, your faith, your belief in something is what creates the thing, is what brings forth the evidence. You create the non-thing by your faith and bringing it into existence, and that's the evidence of the unseen no thing. So, I just thought I would record this and validate every belief or non-belief. It is faith or belief or focus or intention that makes a thing real. And however it happened, after my mom passed away with cancer, my focus and my belief changed. I felt that God did not have my back any longer. That He failed to perform that which I had believed Him to be. And that is how I became sort of agnostic. My fundamental faith or belief in God dissolved because that image no longer was sustainable. Does anybody have my back? Maybe. I'm not sure. I can't say I have a firm belief around that. But for the most part, in my reality now, it seems like there is nobody that has our back, except for perhaps our out-of-body higher self, our soul. But I don't see a God protecting people from illness, diseases, accidents, calamities, hunger, starvation, death. I don't see a God protecting anything. I see, like I said, this generative principle, this polarity, this duality at work by the revolutions of life and death. As it says, this God principle lets the rain fall on the good and the evil. There is indiscretion. There is no personal, it's impersonal. God, or this creative universal principle, is impersonal, and it can be quite chaotic at times. So that's the dual nature, the polarity nature of what we call God, being the negative and positive polarities that create peace and chaos and order out of chaos. So God is not a personal Alexa that will respond to every whim that we might have. We generate God by our imaginations, thoughts,